The final few seconds before you reach for your dog's collar can shape the next few months of your dog's trust. In that tiny window, most owners accidentally turn an ordinary grab into a long-term handling fear. You move your hand in. You see the stiff neck, the ducked head, the weight shift backward. You notice the eyes go hard, or you watch your dog spin away like you just reached for a hot stove. You think you are securing your dog, but your dog does not understand safety. Your dog predicts restraint, pressure, and a loss of control. Board-certified veterinary behaviorists describe this as fear learning through classical conditioning, where a neutral touch becomes emotionally loaded after enough bad pairings. By the time you reach for the collar, your dog is not debating manners. Your dog is forecasting what usually comes next. If every collar touch predicts nail trims, forced baths, or being dragged away from fun, the collar becomes a warning signal. The golden rule of collar work is this: the collar must predict good outcomes more often than it predicts restriction. Today, you must not chase, corner, grab mid-flight, or scold avoidance. You are not dealing with a difficult dog. You are dealing with a cue your dog has learned to fear. If the collar predicts loss of control, your dog will protect the neck first and ask questions never. Hidden trust fear number 1 is restraint panic. Neck restraint can feel like being trapped, especially when you have a history of pulling, lifting, or holding your dog still. Veterinary behavior professionals talk about trigger stacking, where arousal piles up until small pressure feels huge. By the time you clip the leash, your dog's heart rate is already up, so even a gentle hold can land like a threat. To fix restraint panic today, you can hack this system by changing what your hand predicts. You bring your hand near the collar, then you deliver food away from your hand. You use a harness for walks for now. You practice brief 2-finger touches, then immediate release. Hidden trust fear number 2 is a startle reflex at the neck. The neck is a high sensitivity zone, and a fast hand from above can trigger a flinch before your dog even identifies you. Handling sensitivity is not stubbornness. It is sensory processing doing its job. You approach from the side, you slow your hand, you pause before contact, and you pay the pause with a treat. You are teaching your dog that stillness predicts safety, not the grab. You changed speed and pressure, but the bigger issue is meaning, because your dog is always running predictions. Hidden trust fear number 3 is that the collar predicts the end of freedom. You touch the collar, you leave the park, you end play, you go inside. Learning theory explains that cues do not just predict events, they predict emotions. If the best part of your dog's day ends right after your fingers hit the collar, your fingers become the villain. To fix it, you do fake outs. You touch the collar, you treat, you release, and you let your dog keep doing the fun thing. Hidden trust fear number 4 is that the collar predicts discomfort. You deal with tight fit, pinching, matting under the collar, loud tags, or a buckle that catches skin. Veterinarians and grooming professionals will tell you pain changes behavior fast, and it changes it honestly. If you see redness, odor, or sudden sensitivity, you rule out irritation and you schedule a check. You adjust fit, you remove irritating tags, you rotate collars, and you consider lighter gear. Hidden trust fear number 5 is that the collar predicts forced procedures. You reach, then you do nails, ears, medication, or baths. Cooperative care educators teach that consent reduces fear because predictability lowers panic. You separate care cues from collar touches, and you build an opt-in station like a mat or chin rest. You are not bribing your dog. You are rewriting the prediction your dog is making. Even when you change outcomes, your body can still broadcast danger before your hand ever lands. Hidden trust fear number 6 is looming in corner pressure. You bend over, you reach from above, you block exits, or you grab when your dog is pinned against furniture. Behaviorists describe spatial pressure and flight distance, and your dog will defend that distance like it is oxygen. You think you are being efficient, but your dog reads it as a trap. To fix corner pressure, you create an exit. You turn sideways, you crouch instead of leaning, and you invite your dog toward you with a small treat scatter. You teach collar present, where your dog steps in, you touch, you treat, you release. Hidden trust fear number 7 is unpredictable timing and snatch mechanics. Sometimes you are gentle, sometimes you are urgent, and your dog starts scanning you for the moment you switch. Variable negative outcomes can create more anxiety than consistent ones, because your dog cannot relax into a pattern. To fix timing, you standardize a 3-beat routine. You pause near the collar. You touch for 1 second, you treat, you release. If your dog freezes, you went too fast. If your dog mouths, you stayed too long. To fix collar fear, you must look non-threatening before you ever touch. You changed meaning and mechanics, and now you handle the deepest layer, because this is where trust either returns or collapses. Hidden trust fear number 8 is loss of agency. Your dog is not refusing you. Your dog is protecting the ability to choose. Credentialed trainers and veterinary behavior professionals treat agency-based handling as a modern best practice, because choice reduces conflict. By the time you win the collar grab, you may have taught your dog that avoidance is pointless, which looks like compliance but is actually shutdown. To fix this today, you follow one routine. You manage with a harness or drag line in safe areas so you do not need emergency collar grabs. You do repairing with 10 reps twice daily, where your hand near the collar predicts a treat and no grabbing. You add micro holds with 2 fingers for half a second, then treat and release, building slowly. You add the clip in steps. Touch collar, treat. Touch clip to ring, treat. Clip, treat. Unclip, treat. You proof in real life by touching, treating, and sending your dog back to play. If you see sudden aggression, pain signs, or escalating bites, you stop and you consult a veterinarian and a qualified behavior professional. This is the concept that changes everything. Your dog is learning predictions, and you control the predictions. If this changed the way you view grabbing your dog's collar, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. You don't do generic advice here. You rebuild trust with behavior science you can actually use. Let me know in the comments what usually happens right after you reach for the collar in your house. Until next time, you take it slow and you stay consistent.